Alright guys, the time has finally come. Cartethyia'S kit is here. Now you guys are always saying, hey, stop doom posting, wait for, the kit to be finalized, wait for them to actually confirm her kit. Her kit is here, so we're going to go ahead and see what Cartethyi'a is looking like so far. Now, yes, I know, I look very chopped right now because of my hair. I know I need a haircut. I am going on a trip on July, so I'm saving that haircut for the trip. I'm going to, get a haircut like 2 days before the trip. And the reason why is because I want the haircut to be crispy. So if any of you guys go in the comment section down below and type the fucking scissors or the fucking razor, you're getting that ass banned. But anyways, let's continue over here. You guys can see Cartethyi'a. They literally posted it on Twitter. So let's see what's happening here. I got my pin out right here. I'm ready for this, man. Ready. Your boy is ready. I'm really curious to see which stat she scales off of because I heard it was HP, but let's see. So as you guys can see, of course, she's arrow, sword, and of course we have the boss material, which is unfading glory. So it says main damage dealer, arrow erosion, damage amplification, and traction. Traction is very interesting, but you guys can see this is what it looks. This is what it looks like for a normal attack. He has this little vortex. So it says deal arrow damage and inflict arrow erosion on the target. Summon Sword Shadow 2. So she can inflict arrow erosion with her basic attack, which is really good. This is exactly what I wanted for Cartethyi'a. She can inflict arrow erosion in her, her base form, which is Cartethyi'a, and then when she transforms into Fleurdelys, that's when she's going to deal some nuclear damage. So it says heavy attack, deal arrow damage and summon Sword Shadow 1. The instance of damage is considered basic attack damage. Mid-air attack, Cartethyi'a, deal arrow damage and recall all sword shadows. This instance of damage is also considered arrow erosion damage. So heavy attack is considered as basic attack damage. Basic attack is not considered as anything, it's just basic attack. And then mid-air attack is considered as arrow erosion damage. In dodge counter, she's going to deal arrow damage. Now for her resonance skill. So it says deal arrow damage and inflict arrow erosion on the target. Summon Sword Shadow 3. This instance of damage is considered basic attack damage. So far we have Sword Shadow 1, Sword Shadow 2, and Sword Shadow 3. So she can drop Sword Shadow 3 with her resonance skill, and in basic attack is Sword Shadow 2, and in heavy attack is Sword Shadow 1. Now I'm really curious to see what the Sword Shadow is all about because she has 3 Sword Shadows, so really curious to see what that's about. But so far it seems like she is a basic attack damage dealing unit, so Sanwa? Who knows? Let's continue. Resonance Liberation. At the cost of HP, transform into Fleurdelys and enter Manifest, during which certain attacks immediately trigger arrow erosion damage. So, for Resonance Liberation, of course, she transforms into Cartethyi'a. And it says the cost of HP, so she's sacrificing HP to transform into Fleurdelys. Manifest. When in Manifest, Fleurdelys gains the following effects corresponding to different types of Sword Shadow recalled. So Sword Shadow 1, certain attacks propagate the highest stacks of arrow erosion on targets hit to all nearby targets. Sword Shadow 2, the damage interval of arrow erosion damage is reduced and the arrow erosion damage taken by the target is amplified. In Sword Shadow 3, certain attacks stagnate the enemy, gain increased resistance to interruption. So I'm guessing that before you transform into Fleurdelys, you want to place all of these Sword Shadows on the field because you guys can see you can place these Sword Shadows down. So I'm guessing you place all 3 Sword Shadows down, right? You place all of them down, and then when she goes into her ultimate, okay, so she goes into Resonance Liberation, and I'm pretty sure like she consumes all of those Sword Shadows and she's able to do all these things. I don't know, because it says in order for her to consume the Sword Shadows, she does the mid-air attack, which is this over here. You guys can see we wait for it. So that's basic attack. Look at that. So mid-air, she consumes all Sword Shadows. Very interesting. So I'm guessing that she can inflict, like she can place these sword shadows down with her ultimate. I'm assuming that. But let's continue. So Resonance Liberation finisher, restore HP and deal a massive amount of arrow damage. So for a Forte circuit, transform into Fleurdelys and unlock new moves. When in manifest, Cartethia is able to freely transform between herself and Fleurdelys. As Fleurdelys attacks, restore Forte Gouge. When Forte Gouge's full Resonance Liberation finisher is available. So her finisher is pretty much like her second ultimate when she's in Fleurdelys form. So for intro skill, it says deal arrow damage and inflict arrow erosion on the target. Summon Sword Shadow 1. Oh, that's pretty good, dude. So she can also inflict arrow erosion with her intro skill. Really nice. And then of course, intro skill for Fleurdelys is deal arrow damage. So when you switch to Cartethia, you do her intro skill, she summons Sword Shadow 1 and she inflicts arrow erosion. And then for her outro skill, it says arrow damage dealt by other active resonators in a team took targets with negative status is amplified. So they're showing a Chacona right here. So for combat guide, so let's go ahead and read this because I'm really interested to see how the sword shadow thing works. So gain enhancement through different sword shadows and greatly boost arrow erosion damage output. Inflict arrow erosion and gain substantial damage boost based on the arrow erosion stacks on the target. Cartethia may freely transform between herself and Fleurdelys. As Cartethia, the last stage of basic attack, heavy attack, and intro skill and resonance skill of Cartethia will summon different sword shadows. When there are sword shadows on the field, Cartethia's plunging attack will recall the sword shadows and cause additional damage based on the sword shadows recalled. When Cartethia's resonance energy is full, press Resonance Liberation to transform into Fleurdelys and obtain different bonus effects for a certain period of time based on the sword shadows recalled. Oh, okay, I get it. So the way that you would play with her is you place all the sword shadows down, then you recall it by doing her mid-air attack, and then you use her ultimate. I get it. That makes a lot more sense. Okay, completely understandable. I get it. When Cartethyia'S, okay, we already read that. As Fleurdelys attacks restore Conviction, when Conviction reaches 120 points, Resonance Liberation Blade of Hollowing Squall becomes available, and that's her finisher. So they're pretty much showing us, you know, everything here. So perform up to 4 consecutive attacks dealing arrow damage. Following basic attack, Cartethia stage 4, inflict 1 stack of arrow erosion on target's hit and summon Sword of Divinity Shadow. Up to 1 Sword of Divinity Shadow may exist for 20 seconds at the same time. So each, like, you pretty much have 20-second uptime for each sword. So 20-second uptime for Sword of Divinity Shadow. And then for heavy attack, it says over here, up to 1 Sword of Discord Shadows can exist for 20 seconds at the same time. This instance of damage is considered basic attack damage. And then over here, press normal attack shortly after plunging attack to perform basic attack Cartethia stage 2. Casting mid-air attack, Cartethia recalls all sword shadows based on the types and number of sword shadows recalled. Perform different forms of plunging attack and obtain the corresponding Heart of Virtue, Mandate of Divinity, and Power of Discord. Okay. And then dodge counter, and nothing too serious there. And then over here for resonance skill, attack the target, launch nearby enemies, and then plunge them to the ground, dealing arrow damage and inflicting 2 stacks of arrow erosion on the target's hit. This instance of damage is considered basic attack damage, can be performed in mid-air. And then following Cartethia resonance skill, summon Sword of Virtue Shadow. Up to 1 Sword of Virtue Shadow can exist for 20 seconds at the same time. Okay. Now, I'm really curious to see how the HP works. Like, where's the HP scaling? So we come over here to Resonance Liberation. So by reducing HP to 50% of the max HP, Cartethia transforms into Fleurdelys, unlocking new moves and entering the manifest state for 12 seconds. Can be performed in mid-air. Entering manifest clears all conviction. So trigger 1 instance of arrow erosion damage and reduce the arrow erosion stack on the target hit by 1. Ending the state will not clear resonance energy. No HP cost when HP is below 50%. Fleurdelys attacks restore conviction on hit when conviction reaches 120. We already read that. Below conviction, when conviction is below 120 points, press Resonance Liberation to transform back into Cartethia. When it manifests, casting Liberation, blah 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 blah. Stage 4 will generate a force field to stagnate the targets within the range. Arrow erosion damage is amplified by 50%, and a damage interval is decreased by 50% for enemies within a certain distance from Fleurdelys. So these are like the different effects for the swords, right? Okay. When Fleurdelys has power of Discord and manifests, Fleurdelys stage 2 enhance heavy attack Fleurdelys or after resonant skill. May Tempest break the tides deals damage. Raise the air erosion stacks on all nearby targets to the highest count among the targets. Wait, doesn't this confirm that since she can, like, the fact that she can raise the arrow erosion stacks on all nearby targets, doesn't that mean that Arrow Rover, like, yeah, Arrow Rover can increase it by 3, but this pretty much confirms that you don't really need to put Arrow Rover with her because she can already increase that limit herself. Interesting. Very, very interesting. And then of course we have this over here for Cartethia. Avatar for Fleurdelys. We already read through that. I'm not gonna read through that again. Casting Resist Liberation. So Blade of Howling Squall removes all conviction, ends manifest, restores 50% of max HP, and then deals arrow damage to all targets in the area along the straight line in front. Upon hitting the target, remove all stacks of erosion on the target. Each stack removed amplifies the damage taken by the target by 20%, up to 5 stacks. Bro, she sounds broken. That's like 100%, man. 100% damage taken for Blade of Howling Squall. Cartethia unlocks new moves when she transforms into Fleurdelys. Okay, we're not going to read through all of that. But I'm really curious to see where the HP scaling is at because I don't see any HP scaling in here. It's just that when she transforms into her ultimate, she consumes HP when she transforms. That's all I'm getting. Like, is her damage directly scaling off of HP or not? And it seems like that's not the case. But there's so much shit going on over here. Holy shit, there's just a lot going on here. So outro skill. So arrow damage dealt by the active resonator team other than Cartethia with negative status is amplified by 17.5%. And then her inherent skill, the healing received by all resonators other than Cartethia in the team is increased by 20%, and the resistance to interruption is enhanced. If Air Rover is in the team, Air Rover additionally restores 25 wind strings upon casting Omega Storm. We gotta put her with Air Rover, bro. Oh my gosh. Targets with 1 to 3 stacks of air erosion take 30% more damage from Cartethia and Fleurdelys. Targets with more than 3 stacks of air erosion additionally take 10% more damage from Cartethia and Fleurdelys for each stack of air erosion they have, up to 3 stacks. Holy shit, dude, that is a lot. So, yeah, man, like, she looks pretty good. She looks really, really good, man. She seems like a really cracked unit overall. So, what I'm getting from this character... Oh, we got her weapon. Bingo. There we go. So, let's go and see her weapon details. So... Oh, her weapon has HP. Very interesting. So this, it says, so base stats is 412 and then 72.2% HP. And then, let's see. So it says max HP is increased by 12% up to 24%, of course, when you like level this up. 15 seconds after casting intro skill or basic attacks, ignores 8% of the target's defense when dealing damage. If the target has at least 1 stack of air erosion, the target's damage taken is amplified by 20% to 40%. Okay. So, correct me if I'm wrong in the comment section down below. But the reason why you want to put a lot of HP on her is so that when she goes into her Fleurdelys form, that part is a little bit confusing to me. Let's come down over here just a little bit. Let me see if somebody actually explains that a lot better here. So, yeah, she's an HP based unit. HP scaling DPS. Oh, never expecting an HP based stat sword for Cartethia. That's really surprised me. I expect at least crit damage. So her damage directly scales off of HP. Very, very interesting. Now, the thing is, guys, a lot of people might say, you know, oh, I'm happy the fact that she's an HP scaling character, but at the same time, you guys have to understand, there is not a single weapon in the game, a single sword in the game that gives HP. If we come over here, let me pull up Brightwind real quick. Let me pull this up real quick for you guys. So when we check out this on Brightwind, so let me come back to Wuthering Waves. So let's check out all the weapons. So we have can we look up swords? There we go, swords. So you guys can see Blazing Brilliance. Of course, this is not going to be good on her at all because it has attack and crit damage. I mean, the crit damage is nice, but attack is not going to be good on her at all. Blood Pack's Pledge, that's not going to be good on her. Emerald of Genesis, not going to be good on her. Red Spring, not going to be good on her. I mean, the thing is, you do get basic attack damage bonus from Red Spring. So this probably might be good on her, but it's just that the attack increase is going to be useless. Unflickering Valor, you get 77% energy regeneration, you get a 24% basic attack damage bonus. So Unflickering Valor might be good, but energy regen on her, I don't know if that's going to be good. Command of Conviction only gives attack, which is going to be shit on her. Endless of Collapse, not going to be good. Fables of Wisdom, attack. So you guys can see every single weapon we have in the game so far, it only gives attack, and some of them just give energy. So I don't know. I mean, sword number 18, it says increases heavy attack damage by 18% and restores HP by 5%. That seems pretty shit. So yeah, there's not really a lot of options when it comes to like HP based swords. You know what I'm saying? Like when it comes to HP scaling swords, it's like you only have her weapon that literally gives a huge 72% HP boost. So I don't know how to feel about that. I don't know. Like if you guys are going to make an HP based scaling character, like a character that's going to scale off of HP, at least give, you know, a weapon. There should at least be a weapon in the game that gives additional HP. You know what I'm saying? Because as of right now, there's not a single weapon in this game that gives additional HP. So I don't know how to feel about that. But Cartethia seems very, very interesting. And of course, she seems very cracked. I'm happy the fact that she doesn't need, you know, she doesn't heavily rely on negative stats effect because she can apply it herself, which is really good. But I will say, you know, the only confusing thing about her is, of course, the HP part. Like, maybe they're going to show us, of course, they're going to show us the scaling in game. But as of to right now, this is all I'm seeing when it comes to HP, her ultimate. She reduces 50% of her HP, and Cartethia transforms into Fleurdelys, unlocking new moves. So I'm guessing like the HP is there to just like, if you want more HP on this character, it's gonna make her a lot more like she's gonna be comfortable if you have more HP on her. If you don't have a lot of HP on Cartethia, maybe she's not gonna be really, you know, fun to play with. Maybe that's the idea of her being like an HP scaling character. I have no idea. But once again, very interesting unit overall. And of course, when it comes to her team comps, maybe it's gonna be Cartethia, Senwa, and Arrow Rover, or it's gonna be Cartethia, Arrow Rover, and Shorekeeper or Verena. But of course, the best team for it is of course gonna be Cartethia, Chacona, and Arrow Rover, or Shorekeeper and Verena. Those are pretty much gonna be like the top teams for her. Plus, I did forget, this is like the first character that's gonna have like a 4-4-1-1-1 build. And if you guys want to understand what I'm talking about, so if we come over here on Wuthering Waves real quick. All right, so the game is loading up here, but so when it comes to Cartethia, right? So obviously, since she is going to scale off of HP, I already have her built ready to go because I knew that, like, something told me that she's going to be an HP scaling character because of her weapon, right? So this build over here, this is what I'm going for when it comes to Cartethia. Now ignore this part. Let me go in and just remove this. Let me just remove that. But this is what I'm going for. So of course we're going to go for crit rate, which is going to be in our cost 4. Now, of course, you know, for the next patch, they're going to drop the new set for her. But while I'm grinding for that new set, I'm going to stick with this set over here. So cost 4 is going to be, of course, crit rate or crit damage. Now over here, you're going to put another cost 4. Usually we would put 4, 3, 3, 1, 1. But this time, since she is an HP scaling unit and she does have a lot of arrow damage bonus in her base kit already, Like, she already has a lot of arrow damage bonus in her kit. So you would pretty much go for crit rate, crit damage, and then just put a bunch of HP on her. And the reason why is because, once again, when it comes to weapons, there is not a single sword in the game that offers HP. Like, her weapon is the first sword in the game that gives additional HP. So if you're not trying to get her weapon, then I would highly recommend you guys to go for a 44111 build. That's going to be like the best build for her. It gives her a fuck ton of HP, and at the same time, you get, you know, crit rate and crit damage. Like, she's going to be an absolute monster when she releases, because her kit is just insane. Like, I already have like 57% crit rate and 202% crit damage. Once the new once the new 4-cost echo drops in next patch, I'm gonna get the crit damage echo, 4-cost echo, and put it over here, and we're gonna probably have around like 250% or 260% crit damage, which is gonna be pretty good. And we pair that up with Shorekeeper, 280% crit damage. Like, she's gonna be insane, man. So really looking forward to Cartethia, and once again, I'm really interested to see, you know, how she is going to scale off of HP. I'm pretty sure when we come over here, right, we can see over here. So you guys are going to see it's probably going to say HP instead of attack. So we don't see that in the game yet. They didn't put that, you know, in her kit details. They just said, hey man, when you go into her ultimate form, she's going to reduce her HP. So when we go into the game, they're definitely going to show this over here where it's going to say, you know, a percentage of her HP. And that's the reason why you're going to have to put, you know, HP build on a character instead. So first HP scaling DPS unit in the game. Very, very interesting. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section down below. But I'm pretty satisfied with her build. I'm pretty satisfied with her base kit. It looks really good. My only complaint is that they didn't give us any other options when it comes to HP scaling weapons. But that's pretty much it. So hope you guys have a good one. Honestly, I thought I was about to roast the fuck out of her kit, because recently they've been fumbling when it comes to, you know, these characters and their base kit relying on negative status, but they deliver it when it comes to Cartethyia'S kit. So I am looking forward to this character. But I hope you guys have a good one, and I'll be catching you guys soon. Adios.